honestly, now that kind of the shock of what I'm hearing, for lack of a better term, has worn off, I'm really finding the groove here and caught the bass, and it's doing some real fun things. Again, I've never been on morphine, but I imagine it just is. That bass is just boom, just those long, drawn out notes. It's so gnarly. The tone there. Anyway. For more than half of my life, I've dreamed of Ireland. Drawn to it in a way I can't explain. At first, it was the obvious. The scenic beauty, the music, the Guinness. Then over time, it became so much more. The vibe, the people, the history. And that's what hooked me. Also, clearly, I am not actually an Irish.
Too sexy pose.
But on April 1st, 2026, the dream becomes a reality as I close up shop in the Smitty hole and take off on the adventure of my lifetime. Over the course of a year, I'll hike that beautiful island and tell its story, town by town. Each town I stop in, I'll conduct an interview in a pub with people that can tell the story of that particular town while discovering all the things. All the things you're supposed to do in Ireland, then all the things you don't know, like where the locals go. Basically, I'm going to try to make friends with an entire country. And if that goal doesn't sound lofty enough, I'm also going to attempt to learn the Irish language. If you'd like to support the project, basic Patreon support is only $3 a month. And if you're Irish and want to help me network and act as a liaison, hit me up. This is a huge bucket list goal, and I need all the help I can get. The Smitty Learns Irish Pubcast begins April 2026, and I can't wait. Sláinte. With a reaction to Morphine, and I do believe it is probably my first time listening to Morphine. I don't even really know what they would fucking kind of... I've heard of them since the 90s, I'm sure. From 91. Formed in 91. From Cambridge, Massachusetts. How many albums? Looks like 5 or so. From 92 to 2000. Okay. So what are we looking for? A Cure for Pain? Is that what he requested? Patron... Is it Patron Mark? Yeah, Patron Mark. Cure for Pain by Morphine. And that's what we're going to listen to right now. I have no... I think industrial metal is perhaps how I've heard them described before, or maybe how I took it when I've heard of that band before. I don't know. From the album Morphine from 1993. Okay. Let's do that now, shall we? No idea. Heard of Morphine before. Seem to be industrial metal in the slightest. Now I kind of know what I'm going into a little bit. Fresh ears. Is this band making music for people to feel like they're on morphine? Like, if you were on morphine, this would be the soundtrack for that, because I've never been on morphine, as far as I know. And I feel like that would be a great fucking soundtrack for that. Where is the taste? Just sunk into the fucking couch. And tell me where that's a sax. Someday there'll be a cure for pain. That's the day. I need to know how this band is fucking described. Let's go to their fucking Wikipedia, shall we? Genres: alternative rock, blues rock, jazz rock. Okay. All right. Uh, it sounds like way more than I don't want to say way more than jazz, but I don't necessarily know that just because you incorporate those elements of saxophone, my brain does not do jazz historically. Really figuring out those drum patterns and things like that. To me, it's always been super confusing, and I don't know if I've heard that aspect of this yet. I don't know if it's. I don't necessarily think having a saxophone makes it jazz. But there's probably more. Shut up, Smith. Play it.
I throw my drugs away. Trying to keep them pain.
That seems like fairly jazzy drumming.
Where is the cave where the wise woman went? And tell me where's all that money that I spent? I propose a toast to my self-control. You see it crawling helpless on the floor.
Honestly, now that kind of the shock of what I'm hearing, for lack of a better term, has worn off, I'm really finding the groove here and caught the bass, and it's doing some real fun things. Again, I've never been on morphine, but I imagine it just is. That bass is just boom, just those long, drawn out notes. It's so fucking gnarly. The tone there. Anyway.
Crawling helpless on the floor. Someday there'll be a cure for pain.
And this is so different.
That's the day I throw my drugs away. Will I find a cure for pain? Will I find a cure for pain? Find a cure for pain.
Again, I don't know that that was intended to be the soundtrack for somebody on morphine, but I imagine it really could have been. My soundtrack band for heroin that I've never done as well. I always imagined Velvet Underground would be the fucking band you listen to while you're on heroin, and I fucking hate Velvet Underground. But I appreciate this band. I'm still not going to try Morphine, but I'll try more Morphine the band because there was some really cool things. I'm going to have to go back and re-listen to that song quite a bit, I think. Let me add that to a playlist, shall we? Let's put that on first of all, the Smitty's Rock Radar Stoner Reaction song playlist that's public on Spotify, and that link is in the description if you want to check that out. But then maybe another one because I want to hear that more. That's just how I do it. Put it on a few soundtracks every once in a while, and then I can listen more. It can always be removable if I get tired of it. There's a caveat there. So what do I want to put that on? Let's put that on fucking... throw that on the What the Hell Everything playlist, which is the main playlist of all my shit. So let's put it on there, and then we'll be moving on with our life and from morphine. But I'll do it again. So put that suggestion in the comments section. Fucking A, man.